You know, there is always a debate between researchers about whether the funding should ask them to do application oriented research only, or they should be allowed to do basic research and so on. But I think it's a bit of a false dichotomy, in the sense, even when you're doing pure basic research, basic in whatever sense it is, you have something in mind as to when this research will become useful, and good basic research will be application oriented research. So we should just get past this debate. Of course, you want to set up fundings that are properly allowing people to pursue well-defined science questions, forecast questions, process understanding, predictive understanding, improving predictions, and now bringing AI for various model improvements, parameterizations, or downscaling the forecasts to the decision scales, and so on and so forth. So this is how this group of authors imagines innovation flow within the EPIC Innovation Center, Earth System Prediction Innovation Center, creating an environment for co-development and inclusion. So EPIC's facilitation of a constant flow of communication between research and operations, and transparent testing mirroring operational requirements, is critical for community engagement, leading to accelerated operational improvements. So at one end you have a lot of academic research going on, not necessarily focused on improving models, but many of it may end up being very useful. So always there has to be some translation going on, and then there is a need to improve the operational forecasts. So how smoothly these things follow. So there is a modeling community which wants to innovate and then research. So you have the innovation process here through user support, so user forums, documentation, code repository. Basically that means there are people who are, it's like building a car and having people test driving it. So you're building models for forecasts, issuing forecasts. There must be users who are telling you whether the forecasts are worth anything or not. So user forums are very critical, right? And you have on this end building a community, bringing greater alignment between NOAA, academia, private industry, and research centers, and creating the next generation of scientists to work in this mode of, research itself can be in a mission mode as well. It doesn't have to be just operational research that goes in a mission mode. So here you have transition to operations that has to happen. So you have supporting agencies, environmental modeling mission needs. So NOAA's mission is well defined, and it keeps growing because there's a lot of demand under climate change, and a lot of new problems arising in terms of climate impacts as well. Protecting life and property, of course, and bolstering the economy and industry. So the government is always asking help with reducing impacts on GDP, on economies, and so on. So here EPIC support steps to support the Unified Forecast System short range weather application, which is the ongoing work, but it has to transition to longer time scales. So steps to support UFS short range weather applications in the EPIC framework, SRW release in the cloud, short range weather forecast release in the cloud with documentation and necessary data for testing, library for test cases for challenging the forecast environments, training for SRW users and developers, benchmarking against verified baselines for skill and computation, seamless transition to operations by harmonizing research and operational CI/CD pipelines. Okay, so those are what we are code depository and code innovation, I guess you can read it up. Okay, so tightly coupled NOAA and community modeling boards are there, aligning priorities with operational prediction goals and modeling system investments. So EPIC enables coexisting NOAA and community modeling boards to sustain the innovation flow into the UFS. The outcome of transparent mutual understanding of environmental modeling priorities creates outcomes that benefit all. So you have community modeling board, so community coordination with Epic Center. There is already something called community Earth system model within coming out of NCAR, for example, in Boulder, which is also doing its own forecast just like NASA is doing. But the idea for UFS is that everybody works together as well. So unified forecast system, then the community modeling boards will provide oversight to the UFS and will represent community perspectives and priorities, so that you don't have 10 different communities modeling. So you have this nice UFS with NOAA modeling boards, NOAA federal and international coordination, and EPIC program with its process, budget, communications, and legislative affairs. They are called up by the Congress to respond to various things all the time. So what is the EPIC community ecosystem then? A coordinated approach for developing the UFS and supporting NOAA's research to operations and operations to research mission, in the sense you want to give feedbacks to researchers saying this got transitioned to operations but it's not, it needs improvements or whatever. So here you have the Earth with its Earth system modeling community, cloud providers, so HPC software, program architecture, so very practical things, continuous improvement and continuous development. So that was CI/CD. I said it code here. So CI/CD is continuous improvement and continuous development. Sorry about that. Web presence, innovation hub, so outreach, user documentation, code and science documentation, training and tutorials. In fact, if you want to have next generation of scientists, you need to have this good training program. Code hackathons, code sprints and workshops where kids are given opportunities to improve things and bring their energy and enthusiasm to work directly on operational systems, software infrastructure with GitHub, Gitflow, and UFS improvement, and so on. Okay, so what is the intrinsic value of impact-based decision support services? Decision support services is the linchpin to fulfilling the National Weather Service mission. Decision support services basically means all sectors, from communities to farmers to fishers to transportation, airlines, tourism industry, and so on are being served, agriculture, etc. So here you have kind of an hourglass starting here. You can start, let's say here, observation and numerical weather prediction, one National Weather Service network, national blend of models, collaborative forecast process, social science to translate to the last mile, because just preparing forecasts without social science is going to be not much effective or actionable. Accurate and consistent forecasts and warnings, so this is providing observations, forecasts and warnings. So NWS employees providing impact based decision support services, which then moves up, cascades up to core partners, communications strategy, weather ready nation ambassadors, and saving lives and property, and ready, responsive and resilient. So this is weather readiness, and then it has to now extend to climate resilience as this system builds up. Save lives and property and enhance the national economy. Okay, so this is the hourglass schematic showing the importance of observations and numerical weather prediction as the foundation for the IDSS and other positive societal outcomes, such as lives and property saved, and a weather-ready nation that is ready, responsive, and resilient. There is a kid shouting for his friend from the street. She's at home, but either she's not listening, she's listening to music with headphones, so she cannot hear him, and so on and so forth. Let me make sure I said the IDSS correctly. We read it and then I forgot about it. This is always tricky, isn't it? So let's do this just for fun. We'll keep going back to see what is IDSS. There must be decision support something, right? So do I have it here at all, or I know we saw it. So la 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 always tricky when you don't write it down somewhere, because I read these things and then go back, and then I suddenly realize I have forgotten the acronym. Too many acronyms to begin with anyway. So you can look it up, IDSS. Actually, I can do it here in a second by going to the PDF. So this is not the best way to do podcast, but hey, I'm doing this voluntarily, and whenever I find time. So IDSS is Information Decision Support Services. Information Introduction of Information Decision Services. So Information Decision Services is IDSS. Okay, so there, I got it. This is 10 minutes long. How many more slides do I have left? I have gone back, so I have to come back, and I'm here, so I have just about 3 more. So I'll come back and read the conclusions in a bit more carefully. So let's just do one more podcast instead of extending this unnecessarily. Okay, see you in the next and final podcast on EPIC, the Earth System Prediction Innovation Center. Made up, but what the hell.